Yeah. Okay, so what does WWE call their center with all the TVs in it?
They call it WWE Thunderdome.
What was the Tropicana Field called in the early 90s?
The oh my gosh, Thunderdome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to think about it.
It's when the Lightning were out of there.
Yeah. So that's an interesting fit too. But yeah, it makes for interesting situations. Our listeners may not know, or some of them might remember. Me and KM were from the Tampa Bay area. He lives down in the Tampa Bay area. I don't, but and lived down that area for years. But yeah, so it was interesting. I've had a number of my buddies on social media from down there and asking them about the WWE moving into the Tropicana Field. It's interesting how they set it up too. It's like the kind of eliminated the third base and first base line the way they had it set up from what I've seen the pictures before. And now I guess as they kind of close it in, obviously it looked like more of their own arena. So it's interesting to see that happen.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures now to try and figure out how they set it up.
Yeah, I seen one probably about a week before they had the show, and that's what my guessing is about the first base line, third base line.
Well, it's just more or less. I would have to watch it again because I've been in that arena more than a few times.
Oh yeah,
over the years. And I'm very familiar how like all the advertisements, how they're set up and everything like that. So I can I don't have to look at it again to try and figure out where everything is. I mean, when was the last time I was at a baseball game? I think 3 years ago, 4 years ago was the last time I was at a baseball game there. So.
Oh really? 4 years ago. And about
I think it was 2017 was the last time.
Probably been about a good 7 years since I've been to one.
Was the last time with me?
Live on, huh?
Was the last time when you went with me?
It might have been last time I went with you. Yeah.
When we went and saw the Astros.
I don't remember who they were playing.
We were down near the bullpen.
You know what? Now I remember it vaguely. That's been that many. Maybe it's more than 7 years.
No, that would have been 7 years if it was the last time with me.
Okay, would have been that way. Okay. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but it was a good time. But yeah, that was the last time I've been to a ball game down there, and that's cool. It's interesting to see them utilizing that field for a wrestling arena. I know it's the first time, but it's still interesting to see and know that they're down there and doing their thing. But I just thought, it was funny seeing the so-called confusion pretty much from the fans online, knowing that WWE's now their new home is the Tropicana Field. But I think they're supposed to be there, or I'm sure they're supposed to be there at least till baseball season starts. Just like they were in the Amway arena till now basketball season started. So that's my guess that they'll be in the Tropicana Field till baseball season starts. It's interesting to see that they moved from an hour and a half, somewhat about an hour and a half or so, 2 hours. But yeah, let's see how long they're gonna be in there. But when I seen on Friday night, when they were in there, obviously they closed in that area to make it a little bit more of an arena. So it was interesting and cool. It's been about 7 years since I've been to a ball game out there, though. 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Was it really Rays versus Houston?
Yeah, Houston Astros.
Houston Astros, okay. Oh. I've seen a few Braves baseball games. Go Braves! But I support Rays, but gotta be the Braves though. But anyways, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting that they're pulling off this Thunderdome thing. It's weird because I think it's kind of what WWE wants, is where they can control the sound that the fans make. Um, but at the same time, it's a safe way to pull off.
Yeah, I'm not yet a fan necessarily of the audio that they put in there to make to copy the audio from the fans from past times. It's not like it's a real reaction. That's what makes it, obviously not quite right, not quite real with the audio they have there for the fans. Obviously, it's not really them there in the TV screens.
Yeah,
what they have to do to get their ovation.
Yeah, it's just my thing is, like, I think that's what WWE always wanted, since now they can control who gets cheers and who gets boos. But
yeah,
I think they're doing the best that they can, since with the pandemic going on.
Oh yeah, it's tough times, weird times right now. So I guess gotta do what you gotta do to to get the put the show on. I still not sure why they don't have a few fans in there, at least from family in there. Wrestlers like with AEW, they have the wrestlers in there on ringside as well as the fans, limited fans, obviously, and the higher parts of the Daily Place in Jacksonville, home of the Jaguars. So I understood. I don't know why they can't put a few fans in there, but they didn't ask me.
Yeah, I don't know. My opinion is I don't think they want to risk it, but I agree with you. Just like way AEW is doing it seems safe. We could be very wrong, but
it's playing safe. But I feel like they can, said like AEW got some fans in there, but it is what it is. It's a weird time right now, so they got to do what they got to do to have put on a show. So other than that, it is what it is. WWE is in the Tropicana field.
Yeah.
We got a new AEW champion too.
I am completely blanking. Kenny Omega. I'm like, why am I blanking on who won? Omega. Yes, Kenny Omega.
I was like, he just won that title last week.
Yeah.
But
and it looks like they're pulling up the whole cleaner gimmick where he's going to be collecting titles.
Now, I guess, with him. What's that?
It looks like he's going to pull off the whole cleaner gimmick where he collects titles now.
Pretty much.
That's not a bad idea,
the ending of that match. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just playing a little different right now. But it's I saw that ending with the match with him and Moxley, and what a big fan of the ending. But yeah, that what they had to do. And Mox has been champion for a year now, just about a year.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought it should go to someone that wasn't tied to WWE. And I know the only reason Mox dropped the title is because he's gonna have to take time off because of his child coming.
Oh yeah, I mean he had to drop the title somewhere along the way.
Right, but you could just tell by the timing that's the reason.
Yeah. Well,
so it all makes sense, and honestly, I thought he should have lost in front of a live crowd, like a major live crowd. But circumstances are what they are.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of AEW, did you see what Jim Ross said about some of the wrestlers on their roster?
I believe so. Is that the one where basically they're to appeal to Vince's eyes, they have to be 6'3", 6'4", whatever, whatnot? Is that what I heard this week?
No, he made a remark that it's they always go on the outside, and people that are supposed to be heels or in faces will group together to make sure they catch them, and basically that it kind of takes them out of it. And now Brandon Cutler responded to it saying, "We're going to go outside, cluster up like coils, and stand there in a huddle, friends and foes together side by side to catch some leaping idiot that going over the top." then after, of course, people started, responding to him. He responds again. Look, I know there's a lot that JR can teach us, but bearing us on this show, or on his podcast is going to make some of us ignore what he says. I grew up watching JR, and he's the best, and we love it that he calls our matches, but we maybe find it a different way to criticize wrestlers in the ring. Everyone's doing what they've been taught. I agree that sometimes things need to be slowed down, but that won't happen when the guy who's supposed to help us put us over, is going out there and publicly burying us.
He's upset. JR's upset because of what they do with the usual.
With constantly going outside and standing there like idiots, just to try and catch someone going over the top, and that takes away from the realism, especially that everyone's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that he has said in the past, and one thing he's talked about in the past, and this goes on with. Also bring in Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette's very let's go that way. Very
set in his ways.
Yeah, there we go. Set his ways, but more complains a lot about stuff. And he talks about where he agrees with a lot of things. It's like with the evolution of things, you may not agree with them, but they are what they are. I'm not a big fan of a lot of things that a lot of wrestling companies do. But one thing that takes away from a lot of things I see. We talked about this. We agreed in this and disagreed. Storytelling is not as much involved in this day and age. There's not much storytelling. I have to agree with them on that by far. It's like you're more concentrated on a few moves, and you are more or less telling me what's going on. Yes, there are things that I disagree. How he feels, but I also agree to the point where it's okay to go introduce your flips and tosses and basically what you're talking about too. But as far as it being so overdone, that's where it gets okay. Where's the story at? What else you got? It gets to being more too much, and that's where the problem is with a lot of wrestling in general. It's just concentrating too much on a moveset, too concentrated on playing the same thing. It's just concentrate on the match more or less. Yeah, stay in the ring, show off what you got in the ring, and don't. But I know they're trained to do how they do it, early on, and they feel like that's what everybody wants. But not everybody wants that. But I said there's a more 50-50 deal that goes along with it. 50-50 deal. And it's I told you before, it's you can do that. Like you look at WCW going back. I know it's not the same company. I know, and I understand that. But they had it very diverse. You had that stuff. Plus you had other things. You had technical. You had and then sometimes it's oversaturated when you have the same thing. It's not just AEW, it's other people too, other companies. But AEW has that to where it's oversaturated with the same thing what he's talking about. So I can't disagree totally with him.
I get what he's trying to say, but I also agree with Brandon Cutler that maybe putting it out on like a podcast or something like that is not exactly the right way to go with it. Maybe taking them aside.
Sometimes you got a lot of fire. Sometimes, I'm not saying I totally agree. I'm saying I understand. Sometimes I remember Vince did that on Stone Cold's podcast a few years back, and one of the guys spoke up about it. That was kind of what you would, I guess, basically the right way to say it, I would say, is kind of being offended was Roman Reigns. He basically spoke up and put a little fire in some people's eyes, getting mad because the current roster at that time didn't show as much, I would say heart, but didn't show as much as they should have in the ring with storytelling and whatnot. So I think it lights a fire, but it's just JR's platform to speak up is on his podcast. It's to where, hey, you know what, I'm here as a veteran to speak up, like it or not. This is how I feel about stuff, and this is what the podcast is about. So I said it goes to kind of 50-50 on the deal, but it's I also understand that they're not listening